is one of the oldest human emotions, older than language, older than laws, older than apologies that start with "I didn't mean it like that." But ancient Greece did something interesting with anger. They didn't pretend it didn't exist. They didn't call it just stress. And they definitely didn't tell people to calm down. They gave anger a god. Meet Ares. And no, Ares was not the heroic war god people like to romanticize today. That was Athena. Ares represented something else entirely. Raw rage, blind violence, loss of control. The kind of anger that doesn't plan, it explodes. The Greeks didn't admire Ares. They tolerated him, which already tells you something important. Because ancient Greece understood a truth we're still uncomfortable admitting. Wrath feels powerful, but it destroys everything it touches, including the person holding it. Now let's connect the dots. Because wrath rarely shows up alone. It usually arrives drunk. In ancient Greece, people didn't get angry because of alcohol. They got angry through it. Alcohol wasn't seen as the cause. It was seen as the amplifier. That's why the symposium existed. Yes, the drinking party with rules. Because the Greeks noticed something early. Wine didn't create rage. It removed restraint. The moment alcohol entered the body, something predictable happened. Voices rose. Insults sharpened. Disagreements escalated. Men who were calm at dinner became aggressive by dessert. And here's the key psychological insight. Wrath doesn't begin as violence. It begins as permission. Permission to say what you normally suppress. Permission to act without consequence. Permission to feel justified. Alcohol didn't give people anger. It removed the locks. This is where psychology steps in. Wrath activates the brain's reward circuitry. When you're angry, your body releases adrenaline and dopamine. Your heart rate increases, your focus narrows, your sense of power spikes. For a brief moment, you feel strong, certain, right? That's why wrath is addictive. It feels like clarity, when it's actually tunnel vision. The Greeks noticed this pattern. They observed that drunk anger didn't look random. It looked confident. Men felt invincible. Insults felt deserved. Violence felt necessary. Wrath didn't feel like losing control. It felt like finally taking control, which is exactly why it was dangerous. Here's something subtle but brilliant about Greek mythology. Ares, the god of wrath, was often defeated, not by strength, but by strategy. Athena represented disciplined force, thought before action, anger with boundaries. The message was clear. Uncontrolled rage loses wars. Wrath rushes in. Wisdom survives. Ancient Greeks weren't saying anger was evil. They were saying unchecked anger is stupid, and alcohol made sure it stayed unchecked. Symposia weren't just philosophical debates. They were emotional laboratories. Men watched how wine changed behavior. They noticed patterns. The insecure became aggressive. The proud became reckless. The resentful became cruel. Wrath wasn't born at the table. It was already inside. Alcohol just gave it a microphone. Some nights ended in laughter. Others ended in broken friendships, broken bones, broken reputations. And the Greeks didn't pretend this was an accident. They expected it. That's why they appointed a symposiarch, a human brake system. Someone to say, this is going too far. Because they knew once wrath crosses a certain line, it doesn't listen. Today, we can explain what the Greeks only observed. Alcohol suppresses the prefrontal cortex. That's the part of your brain responsible for impulse control, moral judgment, emotional regulation. When it shuts down, the amygdala takes over. That's the brain's threat and anger center. So when someone says, I don't know what came over me, they're not lying. Their brakes failed. Wrath didn't arrive unexpectedly. It was released. This is important. Wrath doesn't begin as screaming. It begins as irritation, sarcasm, passive aggression, unspoken resentment. Alcohol just accelerates the timeline. What would have stayed internal for weeks, and once expressed, wrath escalates itself. Anger justifies the anger. In minutes. That's why fights while drinking escalate so fast. Everyone feels right. Everyone feels attacked. No one feels responsible. The Greeks saw this and concluded something brutal. Wrath doesn't care about truth. It cares about dominance. Wrath isn't just a social problem. It's a biological one. Chronic anger raises cortisol, increases blood pressure, disrupts sleep, weakens immunity. Combine that with alcohol, you get inflammation, liver stress, cardiovascular strain, and worsened anxiety. Ironically, people drink to cool off, but alcohol makes anger stick around longer. Wrath sobers slowly. The Greeks had a simpler word, hubris. excessive pride that invites destruction. Ares wasn't worshipped in temples the way other gods were. He was feared. So no, this isn't anti-alcohol. It's anti-amnesia. If you love content where history spills secrets, psychology connects the dots, health brings the receipts, you already know what to do. Subscribe, share, and join me for the next chapter.